It's time for the Freedom in 5 Minutes podcast. Powerful and liberating business strategies you can start in 5 minutes or less. Now, here's your host, Dean Soto.
Hey, this is Dean Soto, founder of freedomin5minutes.com and prosulum.com, prosulum.com. And we're here again with another Freedom in 5 Minutes podcast episode. Today's topic is this. Take the time to take in some beauty. That and more coming up. Good morning. Today seems like it's going to be a good day. We'll see. So this week I'm trying to, you're probably listening to this delayed, so it's not going to be the same day. But this week I'm going to try and get my book published. It's pretty much done, and I just need to do some editing, get that all going, and get my promotion schedule going and everything like that. Book cover and so on and so forth. Freedom in 5 minutes. Can't believe it. Can't believe it's already happening. That's crazy. It's crazy. So, all that being said, we're here with the Luna Meister as usual. We're in our morning walk. Got my coffee in my hand. Got my Luna running around sniffing poo around our 20 acres. And she's loving it. She's loving it. Maybe it's fox, maybe it's raccoon, maybe it's deer, maybe it's something. I don't know. I'm not the one putting my nose in it. But she's liking it. So that's all that matters. So yesterday we went to, yesterday my wife and my 4 older kids went to Shenyang, which is if you've never heard of Shenyang, it is a Chinese dance troupe that comes around and does traditional Chinese dance, all the way for over 5,000 years old is where this type of dancing comes from. And the tickets were not cheap, and it was essentially almost like going on a little mini vacation when it came to the cost of the tickets and then cost of babysitter and the babysitter staying overnight and, a lot of different things that are involved with doing something like this. So yesterday, just the day in general was just so draggy. It was one of those days where I'm like, dude, I don't have the strength or the will to do anything. Honestly, like I feel like, like this is just one of those days where I'm just going to do as little as possible. Okay. Well, we finally got to, so the show was at 7:30, and so my wife and I actually took the opportunity to go pick up the babysitter who's almost an hour away. It's about 45 minutes away. Leave the kids with our oldest and go to the city, grab the babysitter, come all the way back, and spend that time talking and enjoying each other, right? So that was awesome, but it got to the point where it was getting pretty tight as far as time and getting to the show. And in the back of my mind, I'm like, man, I could be working, I could be building something, I could be doing this. What really is the value of this, aside from family and spending time with family and spending time with my wife? Obviously, I know that value. But what's the value of watching a dance thing? Look, I don't have television. The YouTube stuff that I usually watch is more of nonfiction type stuff, business, history, conspiracy theory stuff. That's the stuff that I like, right? That's how I roll. And so this type of beauty, dance, art, performance is not really up my alley. It's just not what I actually go and seek. The only reason was because of my kids, they're in dance, and because my wife obviously was going to love it. And so, all that being said, as we got closer and closer and things got a little bit more stressed out, even the kids were like, oh, why are we doing this? And yada, yada. I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm getting so frustrated because you guys are, it was just mounting. So we get there and the show starts. And holy moly, I was just like, wow, this is so cool. And the way that they, because it's Chinese dance, and it's very colorful, very expressive. The men are very like their dance, they're doing flips and they're doing jumps and splits in the air and all this other stuff. But it's a very like masculine, manly type of dance. Really neat, but graceful at the same time. And the feminine, the females are like, almost look like they're floating sometimes. And they're able to make their costumes look like water and flowers and fire and all this other stuff. And I'm like, wow, this is amazing. That's all I can say is this is pretty dang amazing. So as I'm sitting there, taking it all in, I started realizing, wow, this is doing something personally to my soul. Something that with business, business is very numbers based. Business is very numbers and patterns and systems based. This is just beauty. This is just art. This is just expression. And it really hit me and really touched my soul. And I was like, I've been in a dry, room with no water for a long time. And this was like having your first sip of water after a month. And I had been in this dry room for a year, for a long time. And so what it did was it inspired me today to be more productive, way more productive. It inspired me to do more, but also to enjoy what I have. To enjoy what I have and to just take in the work that I've done right now. So this whole entire week, by the way, I've had this feeling, and I'm Christian, so I if you're listening to this podcast and you're not Christian, you can turn it off if you want, but this is what I believe. And so I've just had this feeling like God was putting in my heart, I'm going to give you what you need. Just don't worry about anything else. I'm going to give you what you need. And if I look through history, if I look through my entire life, He's given me exactly what I needed at the right time. And what I needed at this point in time was beauty. Which that beauty of the dancing actually led to, as I'm standing here talking to you right now, on my land, I can barely see any of my neighbors in the hills. I can see oak trees that, man, I wish I need to come with a saw and get all this mistletoe off a lot of these oak trees, because that's not good. But all of these oak trees, the green, the fresh air when we're not getting sprayed by chemtrails, sometimes you can hear the water on the creeks, the jutting rocks, all this stuff. Just being able to take this in and appreciate it and go, wow, I've been here 3 years. And for most of those 3 years, it was like, oh, well, I just want to stay. I want to get as much money as I can so I can stay. But never really truly enjoying the beauty that is around. And guess what? You are in a place right now where you're meant to be. And a lot of the times, especially men, we don't stop and look around and go, wow, this is exactly where I need to be right now. And it's beautiful. You might be in a suburb. You might be in an apartment. But in an apartment, you have so many neighbors around you. How beautiful is that? And yet, how often do you talk to them? If you're in a suburb, I talk to my neighbors more here, and I could barely see my neighbors, than the cul-de-sac that I was on, where I knew 1, 2, 3, 4 neighbors out of like 20. If I would have just taken the time to appreciate where I was and appreciated my neighbors and talked to them and enjoyed who they were and got to know who they were, and that would have done, imagine what that would have done to my soul. And imagine what it would do to your relationship, your soul, your everyday life when every single neighbor around you knows who you are. And you're waving every time you see each other, talking, sharing. And you might not like some neighbors, but it's great because now you know who you don't like. You can pray for them. But it's important. It's important to see where you're at and to have this beauty and to see that everything around you is beautiful. Everything around you right now is beautiful and gorgeous and is a gift. Because if you don't change that perspective, you have the tendency, just like me, to become a spoiled kid who doesn't appreciate anything. So what right now can you do, where you're at right now, can you do to have a little gratitude and appreciation? I challenge you to take it in all the beauty that you have around you, and to have gratitude, and to find some way of showing that gratitude. And I promise that it's going to help you, help your soul, and at least give you a day of joy and peace and love that you otherwise wouldn't be doing, because, like me, I want and I desire more and more and this and that, and don't have time to take in all of the stuff that I have. All right, this is Dean Soto. Go check out FreedomIn5Minutes.com. Lots of amazing stuff there. You're going to love it. If you want a virtual systems architect where you can scale your entire business 5 minutes a day, in as little as 5 minutes a day, go check out prosulum.com, prosulum.com. But with that, I will see you in the next Freedom in 5 Minutes podcast episode.
Thanks for listening to the Freedom in 5 Minutes podcast. Now, head over to www.freedomin5minutes.com and register for our free masterclass and discover how to start systemizing and automating your entire business 5 minutes at a time. We'll see you next time on the Freedom in 5 Minutes podcast.